The foundations of Real Madrid's quest for glory have been violently shaken. In a development that sends a cold shiver down the spine of every Madridista, the club has officially confirmed a catastrophic injury to their defensive pillar, Antonio Rüdiger. The diagnosis is a serious injury to the rectus femoris muscle in his left thigh, an issue severe enough to warrant an immediate and alarming statement from the medical services. But the real horror is found not in the clinical terminology, but in the recovery timeline. While the club's communiqué is cautiously vague, pending evolution, trusted reports from insiders like Rüdiger'S have revealed the unvarnished truth. Tony Rüdiger is expected to be sidelined for a devastating 3 months. This isn't a minor setback. It's a full-scale emergency that emerged from the most innocuous of settings. The early minutes of a training session, a routine drill, a moment of intense physical exertion that went terribly wrong. It's a stark reminder of how fragile success can be, how a season built on meticulous planning can be thrown into utter chaos in the blink of an eye. For Rüdiger personally, it's a cruel twist of fate. After a period where his form had admittedly fluctuated, he was precisely in the phase of looking to re-establish himself as an undisputed starter under the new regime of Xabi Alonso to prove he remained the bedrock of this back line. Now his mission is not on the pitch but in the treatment room, facing a long and lonely road to recovery. The true scale of this disaster is only fully comprehended when you examine the state of the rest of the defensive core. Real Madrid's defense, once a fortress of reliable veterans and emerging stars, now resembles a field hospital. David Alaba, the other experienced head in the centre of defense, has hardly played following his own horrific ACL injury last season. His return to full match fitness is a gradual process, and he cannot be rushed back without risking a further catastrophe. Then there is Eder Militao, a player of immense quality, but himself only just returning from his own lengthy layoff with a similar ACL rupture. To expect Militao to immediately shoulder the entire defensive burden to play game after game in a packed schedule is a risk of monumental proportions. This situation transforms Rüdiger's absence from a problem into a potential crisis. He was the one constant, the durable force who could be relied upon to marshal the troops and put his body on the line. Without him, the defensive leadership and physical presence are dramatically diminished. Now consider the calendar. A 3-month absence stretches far into the heart of the season, encompassing a brutal sequence of fixtures across every competition. We are talking about a significant portion of the La Liga campaign, where every single point is precious in a relentless battle with rivals like Barcelona and Girona. More alarmingly, it encompasses the entire group stage of the UEFA Champions League. European nights at the Bernabeu demand experience, composure and defensive solidity, qualities that Rüdiger embodies. His absence in these high-pressure, elite-level matches leaves a void that is almost impossible to fill adequately. This injury doesn't just affect the team sheet for one game. It recalibrates the entire strategic outlook for the first half of the season. It forces Xabi Alonso, a manager still imprinting his philosophy on the squad, into a tactical rethink he never saw coming. Does he thrust all his faith into the still recovering bodies of Alaba and Militao? Does he dip into the youth academy for a temporary solution? Or does he consider a desperate dip into the transfer market? Every option carries a significant risk. This is the nightmare scenario for a new manager. Alonso's project, his vision for a new, dynamic Real Madrid, has been dealt a body blow before it could even properly find its rhythm. His task was already immense, but it has now been complicated exponentially. The pressure to succeed at this club is infinite, and navigating this defensive calamity will be his first true test of crisis management. The margin for error has just evaporated. The narrative surrounding Real Madrid's season has abruptly shifted from one of excited anticipation under a new boss to one of genuine concern and anxious questioning. The fitness of every remaining defender will be scrutinized like never before. One more knock, one more strain, and the situation could escalate from critical to outright disastrous. The hopes of a fan base that demands nothing less than victory on all fronts now rest on the ability of a patched-up and vulnerable defense to hold the line. The weight of that expectation is colossal. The absence of one man, Antonio Rüdiger, has suddenly made Real Madrid's path to silverware look infinitely more complex and fraught with danger.